Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Becoming podcast. This is the very first episode, so I'm very excited and I'm just thankful to whoever is giving this podcast a shot because I know I don't have many subscribers or anyone really. So if only one person is listening to this, thank you and just stand by. I swear it's gonna be nice, like a nice chit chat with someone that you can get to meet here in YouTube. So let's start with introducing myself. By the way, I haven't practiced any of these questions of or answers. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And I know that I just want to share my backstory and why I'm doing this and a little bit of what it is to be from an immigrant family and the older sister, like things that people can relate to. But first of all, introducing myself. Hi, I am Lian Cheng, Siriaco. I am Dominican, but I am also half Taiwanese because my dad and his family is from Taiwan, but I grew up all my life in Dominican Republic. I am actually not living there though, so I guess it's not all my life anymore. But I moved to the US. I am here in Florida. I moved 3 years ago. Yeah, kind of 3 years ago in 2021. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey and we can talk about that. But yeah, I do speak Spanish and English fluently. I do want to speak better English, so that's why I'm doing this podcast as well, because it can help me to express myself better, more clearly, more eloquently, and just kind of trying to avoid those filler words like like really, very. I- You probably will hear some here and there because I'm not really practicing this answers. So just spare me for today, like Leah says from Love Island. Um, there it is. Well, let's talk about that, like my family, how it was moving here, and all of that. To put it short, it was challenging. It was different, but I was not too afraid, or it was not like super crazy experience for me that I hated or something like that, because some people like me come here not in their will. So it's worse for those kind of people. But just to put it out there, so I lived all my life in the DR. My dad is from Taiwan, but he went to university in the DR and met my mom, not in the same school, but from friends that they knew, like friends in common. And then they had me a couple years after. My dad is working like a businessman right now. My mom used to working aduanas. People in the DR would know what that is. And she was doing great there. But then they separated. I am the only child from both of them, like both together. But then they went their separate ways and they have their different families. So my dad, he was with a woman, then had a little sister, well, had my little sister, his daughter, and then he went on to another woman. That's the current one, my current stepmom, and has another one with her. So I have two half little sisters from him, but I also have two stepsisters from my stepmom. So yeah, it's gonna be like that with me because I do have a lot of step siblings. But basically, I have those two little sisters. One is 13, yeah, 13, and the other one is 6. And then on my mom's side, she went on to meet my stepdad, my current stepdad, and had one girl, and she is 14 now, so she's my other half sister. So in total I have three little sisters from like blood, and then all the other people are step siblings because my stepdad has 5 kids in total. So it's a whole tree. But the what is important is that the people or the siblings that are closest to me are little. So I'm their older sister, and they're all little girls. The oldest from the little ones is Leandra. She lives with me. I moved here with my mom and my little sister from her side with my stepdad here. My stepdad came here and became a resident here, and then he asked for us, and all that drill, los papeles y toda la vaina de la inmigración y cosas así. Y nada, at the end of the day, we came here, and we're residents now. We've been 3 years here. We have our house now. Very lucky. We came and it was just an apartment of 2 beds. So me and my little sister were to share a bed for the first time. Well, a room, sorry. So it was two mini ones, and then it was a whole thing because we lived in comfort, not as a rich class, but as the middle class. And we were good over there. But then we moved here. I It was very hard for me to decide if I wanted to move here because I do get along better with my dad. He's more on the typical Asian side, so he's calm, he's wise, and he trans kind of like gave that to me. And my mom is the basic Latina. She's the Latina mom in all the words possible. And imagine it also Dominican. Like you can tell that woman has character. They both have very, very strong characters and so opposite. Very opposite. But I inherited both of their strongest characters. So that's a lot to say. I used to say it was both of their worst characters, but they're strong characters. So yeah, I don't want to like ramble around and make it too difficult to understand, but imagine that picture of Asian dad, very strict, very put together, very wise, and then Latina mom, very dramatic, very passionate, very I don't know how to describe that, but you know what I mean. um yeah, I have to stop saying it was a challenge, and so yeah, I'm more on the calm side, but my Latina side goes out a lot of times. But it was hard for me to choose, but it was also about my career. So my dad all his life wanted me to be a doctor. Very typical. Have you heard of that? An Asian dad wanting her or his daughter or son to be a doctor. Have you heard of that? It's very typical. So I was in that dilemma. Do I stay here and do the medicine side or the medicine career, because in the DR it's smaller times. It's, how do I call that? It's only like 6 years, and here it's 8 years. So it was a whole thing. It was based on that. Do I want to be a doctor? If yes, I have to stay in the DR. If no, I have to go to the US because I probably do better over there with other careers. And also, in the DR, medicine is way cheaper than here. And I could actually get a scholarship because by the way, I was a good student. I was the valedictorian of my class of 2021. And I was very proud of that, even though I wasn't able to go for my graduation because we got here. I finished online because of COVID. We were online. I finished, and then my green card wasn't here. So I wasn't able to leave the country, and I didn't attend my graduation. But anyway, I did my little photo shoot here with gown and all that. But back to the main topic. I ended up deciding on not doing medicine. Science is not really my favorite subject anyway. I do like a lot more math. So I was like, okay, not doing medicine. Let me go to the US. And let me tell you, the reaction of my dad to saying that was memorable, to say the least. He was pissed in all the ways possible. But moving forward, we came here. I actually had to do the vaccines that you have to do to come here twice. So it was like 7 vaccines twice because they pushed back our process during COVID. But I didn't want to really talk much about that. I'm just, saying what's on my head. So let's move along. I came here. It was the first year was about finding out what I want to do. In the meantime, I didn't want to just be lazy and stay at home, so I got a part time job. I did know a lot more English than my family, so I got a job pretty easy. It was, very basic job. It was a office assistant job. So I got to learn a lot actually. Like my manager was very good. She was great. She teach me how to do a fax, how to print, how to scan, how to file documents, do contracts, speak on the phone for the first time to a customer in English. I was able to get a grasp of so many basic things that you do in office, and I was thankful for that experience. But the environment with the people was like I was the youngest, so they treated me a little bit like they were underestimating me all the time. So that was the only thing, and I decided to leave to start college. In that meantime, I also wanted to do music. Like I saw the K-pop documentals. I don't know which word is the right one, but I saw the K-pop. I've always liked to dance. I've That's like a little fun fact slash secret talent of me. I did so many dances as a kid. Like I learned every Camp Rock, High School Musical, Violeta, Casi Angeles, all of them I know. So doing all these choreographies and learning them with so many detail, I'm able to now learn new dances and doing it very fast. So I got to like K-pop. So all the Blackpink dances now I know like this. I know some of the how what's the name? Anyway, let's move on from that topic. That's kind of what I did on that gap year. I also took singing lessons online and learned to play the piano by myself. It was it was not an easy task, but I got it and I got to learn a basic or simple version of the song in the shallow. Yeah, it's shallow, I think, from Lady Gaga. Yeah, I got to learn that one. But after that, I remember telling my dad I wanted to do like producing music and all that, and he was mad. He really took it like I was doing some stupid shit over here. So imagine how that played with my mental. But at the end, I did decide not to do it because even though I tried to audition to some K-pop agencies, I kind of like understood that it was not gonna be easy. And I've been always a good student and I've been always good in that side. So why not just go ahead and pick a good career and try to do that? You know, when you say that and when I think about it, people might think it's kind of like I gave up on my dream, but I don't like to see it that way because it's very negative to see it that way. I see it more of like I found a new dream and I followed that dream. And I am now doing a finance major. I really like real estate. I like investments in general and like financial literacy and just like financial side of things. But I also like the investment side, like I was saying, and I like the real estate side of those investments. So that's why I'm working on getting my license and try to do that because, well, let me keep going back because I want to say the now after. You can see how much I didn't practice for this. I'm sorry if it's boring to you, but let's just go ahead, whatever, what can I do? So, I wanted to do architecture actually. So, I started college in Valencia and I wanted to do architecture. So, I went on the first semester, but they actually didn't have the architecture first classes available because I was doing it late. So, imagine I had to do just the basic ones. Good thing I did that because then I decided architecture was not worth it because I had to do so much work and it was so difficult. Like the students of architecture careers or majors, they will all tell you the same that it's one of the hardest careers to go through because of so much work they have to do. But then when they go out of college and graduate and look for jobs, the jobs are like not it and it's not a good pay. I mean, with the years, every career is going to pay you more because of experience. But in the meantime, you're going to do like almost nothing or not what I feel like it's enough for the lifestyle that I want to have. So then I was like, okay, I'm not doing that. Let me change my major to business and finish my associates here and then try to go to another university after my associates. And that's what I did. It was different. Classes here are different. Meeting people here is totally different. I was used to having one classroom with the same classmates every year, like with one or two different people. And we all knew each other. We were like a mini family that, families fight all the time and things like that. And not all of us get along. So it's just a family situation, right? But then coming here and having classes in different classrooms, and then some days no, some days yes, so it's less time to try to be friends with somebody, and then it was a whole thing. But I did get to meet a lot of people. I went out of my shelf and actually talked to people and was social, even though people here just go to class, take the lecture or whatever, and then they leave. So it's like you have no time to kind of have a conversation or try to have a conversation. So it was challenging. All of this podcast is going to be about challenges. So, um, yes, I did good on Valencia. I actually then went on to be on the honors program. I did not volunteer any of that. I do realize that here volunteering is like a big thing if you want to get to a major university. That I tried. I tried and applied to some big colleges. I think I applied for NYU, Emory. In Texas, I applied to another one. Yale. I applied to Yale. I applied to some colleges before starting the junior year to transfer after my associates, and none of them got me. So, and I don't feel bad about that. So I'm good about that. It's okay because I knew that I didn't do the, how do you call that, the exams. I What is it, like the S AR. I forgot the names, but there's like two exams that are very basic here that you have to post the grades for it, and I didn't do those. So I didn't have those grades. Plus I didn't do any volunteering or not much outside work besides college because I had to focus more on my family, help my mom, help my sister. So I didn't have much time to do anything else, or I didn't really make time for it really. So because I don't have the culture of it, I didn't have the culture of having to do other things. So it was a whole thing. But I think everything happens for a reason, and I ended up going to UCF like every Valencia College student, I believe. But I am now in UCF. I am now my second semester. I'm a junior in finance, and I am doing good. I feel good. The first semester, I thought it was gonna be harder because all these people are telling me UCF is way harder, and my ex was in UCF, so I heard of all his stories of, how he has to repeat a class or this and that. I've never repeated a class. I've never, I thought it was gonna be very hard, but you know what? Good thing that I feel like Latinos schools, like in the DR, the schools in the DR are way harder than here. Like the math that they were giving me on my first semester back in Valencia in college was the math I learned on 8th grade in the DR. So it was really shocking to me, like, and the way they teach the math here is like to people that are like they do it so hard, and it's like I knew all these easy ways to do math, and they're doing the harder way. And then when they go ahead and teach the easy way, they're all like, all of them were like, what? No, no, I don't want to learn this way, it's so hard. But then I was like, oh my god, this is the easy way. You guys learned all the hard ways to do this thing. But that was just my experience. It might not be the same for other colleges or other classes. I did learn that. I got to be in harder classes that are more of like the accounting side, and it was a lot more interesting and different topics that we didn't know. But let's continue. I think I talked a lot about things that might be boring. I'm sorry. But all of these things did teach me something. I try to be the most positive possible. I do not take the things that don't go the way I thought as a bad thing. I don't take it on myself. I don't push myself down on things like that because I'm very realistic. I knew my chances to get into a higher known college or university, better said. So I knew it. I kind of just took it as I'm gonna give it a shot. I have to try. The same with auditioning for a K-pop agency. I was like, you know what? I want to at least try. So I shoot myself while I was dancing, a good dance, Swala. I remember like now my sister filming that for me, and then just singing too after all the singing classes. And I took it right. For me, it's like it's not about that it didn't work out. It was about me trying and that I actually did something about it. I didn't just like wandered around. So it doesn't feel like I failed. It just feels like I was redirected to what I was meant to be. And I take it as that is, and I am living a new dream, and I have new dreams, and I am gonna do something about those too, and I'm gonna make this ones work. And because I do feel like I can do very good in real estate. So why real estate? Okay, let's go into that. I I've always wanted to be kind of like a realtor, not only because of the Netflix shows, but also because I like the lifestyle of it. Yes, you're 24/7 on a phone, but not really. I mean, you can stop working at a certain time. You have your own schedule. You really income, it's like unlimited. It's what you make of it. And after going through an internship, I got an internship when I was in Valencia, and then as I transitioned to UCF, I was in that internship for more than a year, like year and 4 or 5 months. And it was in a retirement company, like a financial institution, but it was more really about having retirement accounts. So we were handling Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, 401ks, transfer ins, transfer outs, internal transfers, Roth conversions, like all of those things that go around having a retirement account we were handling. And it was very insightful. I was glad I got that job. It was paid. It was a paid internship, so it was really a blessing to go back to a job, get money for myself. When we moved here to this house, I was able to buy all these things. I did have money from the other job that I used to pay the closet and this and and my bed and my mirror, my desk, all of the things I have. I was the one to buy them. I have a car. I put half on it, and my dad helped me, and my mom helped me with the other part. My stepdad helped me on my other part, like my dad and then my stepdad. So they both helped me, but I put all some money on that. It was mm, like $2,500. No, it was 3,000 that I put on top of having all of this. So it was this also made me more independent. I am 21 now. I don't think I mentioned it. So, coming here as a 17 years old, becoming 18, and then actually getting to go to a job, get a car, have to do all the paperwork for myself because when you go to all those colleges, you have to give so much paperwork, go through tests to get in. At least that was my experience as an immigrant person. So, it was it was a lot of the things that nobody helped me do. I have so many experiences of like times I tried to communicate with people and they wouldn't help me because I didn't or I wasn't the type of people they wanted to talk about. Like one the time I contacted I believe a college advisor. Like I called, sorry. I kind of put an appointment to like have a Zoom call with this company or people that help you get into a college. That was way before I did Valencia. And they were like, "Oh, so just to let you know, this is gonna be like $3,000." At that time, I didn't know how money works here. She was like, 300 bucks. No, 300,000. So I was like, that's 300. My math was not mathing at that moment, but then it was a lot of money. But I was like, I mean, and she was like, so I wanted to let you know. So, if you can do it, then we can go ahead and talk to you about it. And I'm like, well, tell me about it first. And then I can tell you if we can make the sacrifice, if it's worth making the sacrifice to get this service for me. So that didn't help. Calling Valencia didn't help much. I emailed so many people to know what I have to do, and then having to go back to the DR to get my diploma, my things, my paperwork translated from school, getting back. It was a whole thing. I'm doing this in not really in order, sorry, but it was a lot. It was a lot of like reality checks, but I'm never the person to give up. I'm never the person to just call it quits or be weak about things. I kind of just like to get things done. And that's how it's been. So this internship, the last internship, I finished it. They extended me every 3 months. It was a whole thing. I wanted to be a permanent employee, but then they were bought for another company. The new team was very not that great. So I was feeling like, you know what, this is the time for me to move on to the thing that I actually want to do. That's real estate. I actually got a job shadowing experience opportunity with an actual realtor from here. Is actually close to my house. So I was like, awesome. UCF connected me to that. It's called Night Shadow. And I did that, and it was great. Like, I liked how she was doing, like how she does things, what she does. She does like commercial, residential, but also land. And it sounded so interesting. Like, I would like having that lifestyle that she does. So, but I know it takes a lot. Don't get me wrong. I know all the hard things that go through being a first agent. I know that it's all about selling and lead generation. I met people there too that said the same. It was very insightful too. So, ah, this all started. I remember now why I started to speak about all of this. It's because I said why real estate. So, what in the having the internship was kind of in the corporate world, let's say, or the financial world. I have a finance degree, so I wanted to go to see how it's the financial corporate world, right? It really put me in perspective that I don't want to climb the corporate ladder. I don't want to feel like I'm working my ass off for nothing. And like people don't appreciate it, people don't recognize it. You're basically in a team. So if the team doesn't do anything, then the team's not doing good, but then you're working your ass off. But then it was a whole thing. I'm not saying that they were doing anything, by the way. It's just there's a lot of dynamics on a corporate world team that I just don't like. And then you work to be a supervisor, to then be a manager, to then be what? Like a more manager. It doesn't feel fulfilling. Also, working with a company that, you know, it doesn't feel fulfilling in general. So if you're a realtor where you have your own investments, like rental investments and things like that, you're working for you. Like my work, all my fucking work that I do, it's for something. I'm actually getting something out of it. I am actually gonna get the same level of effort back. So it just feels a lot more achieving, a lot more, I feel a lot more committed when I do things for me, and then I know the results are because of me and my work. And I I mean, I'm very responsible. I work very hard. I do things, I get things done. I don't go lazy on things that I know I have to do. I'm very organized. So it's like I don't feel like working for other people when I can work to achieve something for myself. And that's why I decided, let's just give realtor a shot. I know I'm not the best at selling. I don't have any experience at selling actually, but why I cannot try it? Why I cannot try to be that? I work hard all the time, so I can work hard for this and make it work. Do it and then being successful. There's no other way. That's one of the things my dad says. By the way, yeah, we finished with the real estate topic. Now going on with my dad, I said I get along more with him, but I did say things that he was mad about and all of that. He was mad about those certain things, but we are very much alike. Like on the other side, he's been the person that has made me so mindful and very intuitive and very realistic and hardworking and having a good mentality, being strong mentally, all of those things my dad represents. And he works all the time on making me a better, strongest version. And he always wants to make advices or give me advices. And that's the one reason I grew up to be very different from my little sister now, because this might be a very controversial thing to say, but Latinos peoples, like at least their generation, I don't know if it's X generation or no, I think it's millennial generation or something like that. Their generation in Latino side at least, and maybe American too. I've seen a lot of Americans like that. They don't really raise kids to have good values. They kind of just go with the flow and tell them what to do or not. But it's like I am very happy that I grew up with a dad that actually gave me advices, that actually told me how to act on certain situations. Like, you should do this, you should, never talk bad about people, be kind, never give up, make it work. And he told me when I went on to the finance world, or when I was making my choice, he was like, you know what, you just have to think about what you want to do and then choose something. And when you choose that, then go all in, make it work. It has to work. You just have to have that mindset of there's not another option, there's not another shot. I am the kind of like the dream of my parents, or the thing that my parents are proud of, or the thing that my parents, they are putting all of this in me for a reason. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I have to be that person. I have to be the first in my family to be successful, like on a good scale. It's just, I have to. There's no other choice. I will make this work, whatever it takes. That was the quote, sorry. So he said, you have to just go for it and just be successful, whatever it takes. Of course, nothing illegal, nothing unethical. But yeah, I am very glad I grew up on that side of things. I'm very glad I grew up to be very, like, mindful and with a good stability and good mental, to the point that with my mom I don't get along so much because she's very, like, difficult to work with, but she's my mom, so I will always be for her and with her. So there's things we get along and there's just other things we don't get along. It's more on the mental side. Like, I have another mentality and she has the typical, like, Latina mentality. I don't know how to explain it. I probably can explain it better in another podcast. So, lastly, I want to talk about being the bigger sister. It's a lot of work, really, because the thing is that I'm very independent because I grew up for 7 years as an only child, and I didn't have anyone to help me do anything. I actually came out to be a good student by my own. Like, my dad didn't care at that time. When I moved to a better school and then I started to have good grades and then I started to have trophies and medals, he wasn't pushing me. He wasn't that type of parent, or my mom either. They weren't like, you have to have an A or you have to do good or this and that. I actually kind of like was responsible all the time. I just did my things and it turned out to be a good grade, and I was like, I kind of like having good grades. Like, I kind of like having 100, and I kept going that way. And through my middle school and high school years, I was doing like that and I was doing great, and they just knew. They didn't have to say anything and that I was going to do good either way. And the same in college. It's like most of my family too, it's like they know, they see in me that you're kind of those people that are gonna make it. And that makes me feel good too about myself, because I don't really try. And I don't say it in a selfish way or anything like that. I don't want to sound, oblivious, but I don't try hard to be responsible. Like, I kind of am. I am. So it made me think about myself, think by myself, do things by myself. I learned how to ride the bicycle by myself. Just I said I want to start doing it. I'm going to grab my bike and just do circles on the garage. And I did it. And I learned. And that's the same with everything. And also coming here, like all this paperwork, all these calls that I had to do, all these things that I had to figure out how to do so I can know what to start, what to do, all of that was by myself. My mom, my family here doesn't speak well English, and I know more about certain things than them. So I had no help on a lot of my on the things that I did in my life. I didn't. I had my dad's advices. I had economical help, of course. And they were always for me. Like if I needed anything, I could tell, and they'll do something for me. It's not as literal as in they didn't do anything for me and they didn't help me on anything. Of course not. Like there's things like going to the bank, things like that that you learn with your parents. But with other things, it's kind of like I had to figure out for myself how to work, well, what to do at work, getting things done. It was all me. So being an older sister sometimes feels a little bit hard because I didn't have anybody that can help me, but then I want to be that person for them, but then they don't appreciate it. They're on that chapter where they're teenagers, 14, 15, they're starting to be mean and having attitude and not wanting to be with me. My That's more my the one living with me, but the ones in the DR, they are very much loving of me and want to be with me and all of that. So it really depends on on the sister, I guess. But I guess it's hard because you have to be like a mom, and I didn't have child. I don't have to be the mom. She should be the mom, or he should be the parent. Like I am not the mom. I'm just a sister. Sometimes I also just want to be a daughter. I don't want to be the oldest one, if that makes sense. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional. Sorry. Sometimes I really just want to be another daughter. I don't want to be the one that, has to be good and do good all the time because I'm the example to my sisters. I don't want to always have to, you know, give the example, give the advice, be mature enough to tell them the correct advice. I also kind of want to fool around, do stupid shit. So it's not easy, but it's not bad. Like I see my little sisters and I'm proud and I want to be with them. I don't want to be that sister that is not involved or doesn't care, because I've always thought that it's up to the oldest person to try the most. Like my parents, like I've always said, you know what? They are the parents. They should try to, you know, do good with me or talk to me. Why am I the one that has to come up with these conversations? Why they cannot try harder? Or, in other situations, like when a dad is not present, the dad is the one that has the responsibility to, come to the girl and be present. So, using that same kind of logic, I'm the oldest one. They're the youngest ones. They're the more naive ones. They don't really know what they're doing when they're being mean or things like that. So I have to be the oldest and I have to be, the wiser one that is going to say, I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know they're hurting you. They don't know that they're being, you know, crazy. They can also be crazy. So it's hard, but I can touch on that in another podcast. I think I might cut this one. Damn, I didn't want to cut it, but it's 44 minutes already. I said that was the last topic, but I do want to say this last too. And it's about what I want this podcast to be and all of that. So this podcast, it's about becoming, like I said, and it's about going through that journey, talking about everything that I really come up with, but you can see the becoming her process in the vlogs better. But I can also talk here, come, same what I want to say, express myself, talk to the world, maybe someone connects and help somebody. I guess that's generally what I want to do. Like, if one person gets inspired or touched or feels something, I feel like I achieved what I wanted to achieve. Like, yeah, I don't want to, or I don't have to have a million views or a million likes or a million subscribers. I would like to, but if one person at least gets the message across or feels better, inspired, happier, it would just make my day. It would make this so worth it. And I just want to build like a nice community. I like books, I like dances, I like sports like tennis and volleyball, and I like swimming too. Not that I do it too good, but I do like swimming. And I like plants now. I bought this plant recently. Well, I don't think you can see that one, but it's the same as that one. And I have a lucky bamboo too. I can share girly stuff too. I can share things about, like, sisters or relationships or friends, like best friend advice. I can do so many things. I have so many ideas. So I'm very happy to start this and just put myself out there and talk about everything. And I just wish for this to be a nice community and a nice, safe place to talk about everything. And I will try to respond. And for now, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have that many comments anyway. So I will respond to your comments. If you have any questions or anything you want to share, just share it down below. And you can subscribe if you like this kind of content or you like the idea of what it will be. I promise that it will be good. It will be better. I probably will try to organize better what I want to say so it doesn't, get too rambled around. Well, yeah, whatever. But that, you see, that's one of the things I'm working on. I'm working on expressing myself better so I don't get to go off topic so much. I want to be more like efficient with my words and, just better at expressing what I want to express so it doesn't get dragged and it's like direct and straight to the point. I'm working on that, and that's something that we will see on the next episodes as it progresses. But yeah, I don't want to make it more long. I think that's a little bit of everything. And I just hope you found something interesting or something that you connected with this. And I wish you the best for today. Have a great day. Never give up. Follow your heart and your dreams. And don't be afraid to be who you are. And don't be afraid to become the highest version of yourself. We're always in the process of becoming. We always can become something better, something that we are more proud of than what we are now. And I just invite you guys to do the same with me. Let's just start. Let's not, you know, drag it, and let's not be lazy about it. Let's just go and do it. We can do it together. You don't have to start now. You can start later on. You can jump in like in 2 months, 3 months, whenever you feel like you have to change anything, just do it. And I invite you to do it with me and share your story too. So, yeah, just hope you have a happy rest of your day or night or evening, or, well, that's the same thing. Have a nice day and smile today. Have a little smile. Thank you for listening.